Hey guys, off the top rope here, off the Mike Sports Network. Gonna do something here. Very interesting in light of what happened at Revolution to close the show with Christian Cage cashing in his guaranteed opportunity ultimately to lose it. Um, on record, that all I can think of in terms of guaranteed opportunities, I guess you could say money in the bank adjacent. There's been six of these, at least in my mind, that stick out in terms of failed guaranteed world title opportunities that involve the contract. So money in the bank. Spoiler alert, 5 out of the 6 of these are going to be money in the bank cash-ins, but Christian Cage is going to be on this list. That's the point of this video. So let's start off with number 6, the most recent one before Christian Cage, which is Drew McIntyre, using his money in the bank contract that he won earlier in the night, goes to cash in on Seth Rollins and Damien Priest. It ends up leading to nothing because CM Punk gets involved. The reason why I have this the lowest on the list is because some people will say, well, yeah, it was stupid. It was a waste of the briefcase. It's like, guys, Gunther and Cody Rhodes were going to have it. There was no point in having Drew McIntyre hold on to the briefcase. In the grand scheme of things, maybe you could say now it would make some sense, but you know what? Listen, with the CM Punk feud as white hot as it was, and CM Punk still hadn't wrestled, they needed to do something. And I was fine with this. So it wasn't it wasn't great, but in terms of the other 5 that are on this list, this is clearly a level below all of them. At number 5, I've got John Cena, the first failed cash in of the Money in the Bank briefcase back in 2012. This was Raw episode 1000. He has a full on match with CM Punk. Nothing inherently memorable. And then Big Show just breaks it up for reasons like because it set up a triple threat match. The most notable thing that came out of this was CM Punk turned heel on The Rock. And so it was really utilized as a vehicle to turn CM Punk heel and get him to the Royal Rumble the next year. So it really, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really, like, I get it. John Cena wasn't going to be affected by it, but it's like, why did you have to do it in that situation? At number 4, I have Damien Sandow. This was back in 2013, when John Cena had come back. He had won the world heavyweight title just recently after coming back from a significant injury. I think it was to his tricep or something. It was something on his arm. And so he comes back, wins the world title from Alberto Del Rio almost immediately. And then Damien Sandow, who had been holding the briefcase for a little bit, and a neat little design with the wooden briefcase, comes in, has a full-length match, probably one of the better matches he's ever had, and then he just loses to John Cena. And it's just like, you knew, yeah, and also Damien got the upper hand by attacking Cena's arm, and then Cena just beats him with one AA. So this was kind of dumb. But at least it was a full-length match, and they at least gave Damien Sandow some sort of, like, I'm not going to say credibility, but they gave him some sort of validity to holding that title. And, he had a match. Like, Drew came in at the tail end, and the reason why that wasn't that bad is because it was, it was storyline driven. Like, he had been motivated to get the world title, and CM Punk affected it. Cena, he had been chasing the world title post-match with The Rock, leading into this build over the summer, and CM Punk turning heel. Damien Sandow, like I said, there was, once John Cena won the world title, there was no hope in hell that Damien Sandow was ever going to be world champion. So they had to get rid of it. It's still stupid, but so then we've got Christian Cage at 3. This was dumb. And it was really just a poor exercise, and really just having no planning. And you needed a cheap way out to, not pin Cope, which I don't understand why you're protecting Adam Copeland in his 50s. Like, it was just a dumb exercise in terms of, like, bad booking and just, like, a cheap way to get out of this thing. Like, you had so many better ways to utilize this and not waste a guaranteed title opportunity that could have helped you get to a better place. So that was my big issue there. Then we get to number 2. These last 2, I think, are motivated by backstage politics and whatnot, and certain things going a certain way. Number 2 is Baron Corbin. If you guys remember this, Baron Corbin was fast-tracked to potentially be a world champion. And here's shockingly a bit of news. Despite Vince McMahon's best efforts, this guy never became a world champion of any kind. Yes, I think he was a United States champion. He never won the Intercontinental title. maybe I don't think he was a tag. Yeah, his most significant title was he was a constable and an interim general manager, and actually served as a general manager of Raw. He never won a world title despite the maximum level push and the go away heat that he got. But this was just an exercise in just, pettiness. Like Baron Corbin, I guess, because he was a football player, I think he spoke out about concussions and something. I forgot what the nature of it was. And so he had a match with John Cena at the upcoming SummerSlam in 2017. Right before it, John Cena has a match with Jinder Mahal. I think it was John Cena had a match with Jinder Mahal. And so basically, Baron Corbin comes in, breaks up the pin, goes in to cash his Money in the Bank briefcase. He gets distracted as the bell rings, gets rolled up by Jinder Mahal, and Baron Corbin loses the Money in the Bank on a random SmackDown right before SummerSlam. He gets buried by John Cena at SummerSlam. And this is before John Cena started that massive losing streak, before he became this massive heel that we're now seeing going into WrestleMania 41. But this was so effing bad on so many levels, because you had a guy who was fast tracked to be a world champion, and he lost to maybe one of the worst WWE champions of modern time. Like Jinder Mahal was bad. Like, he was really a bad champion. It's not to knock on him. I've heard wonderful things about Jinder, but it's just like, it was a very stereotypical, and you could see the limitations that Jinder had and he wasn't really a main event star. They really wanted to just try and tap into this Indian market, and it just did not work. And so Baron Corbin losing to that guy, and then Jinder just went on to hold the thing for, basically, I think another 4 months. I think he went to hold it for like 3-4 more months, and it's just like, it made zero sense, and it was totally because of backstage politics. And then we get to number one, the absolute positive worst failed cash-in of any kind in any promotion ever. And you guys can kind of throw stuff at me. Like, I didn't count Feast or Fired. I wanted to really implement mostly WWE and also this AEW one from last night. The absolute worst one is Austin Theory back in 2022. This was, without question, one of the most strange booking decisions of Triple H's time as a booker. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen in WWE. Austin Theory, who had held this, and listen, there was no real good way to get out of this situation, because it was really one of the really bad remnants of Vince McMahon near the end. He gave Austin Theory the briefcase at Money in the Bank when he wasn't even in the match. He was the handpicked guy, and Vince McMahon's gone by the end of the month, in the same month that he won the Money in the Bank briefcase. So there's that. So Austin Theory's roaming around. Roman Reigns is a double champion at this point, by the way. So there's no way in hell that Austin Theory is going to win the WWE Undisputed Championship. There's no way that that's happening. So we knew that. We knew that that was a possibility. There was hints at NXT, which I would have honestly welcomed for Austin Theory to be a world champion down there. That would have been fine. And Braun Breaker was the NXT champion at that point. But they make the decision after multiple failed cash-ins. He failed at SummerSlam. He didn't go through it at SummerSlam. He didn't go through it at Clash at the Castle. Actually, Tyson Fury knocked him out, which was great. So then Austin Theory, a random edition of Raw. It's Bobby Lashley taking on Seth Rollins for the U.S. Championship. And Bobby Lashley just absolutely destroys Seth Rollins. And, and I think it ended up in a DQ. I can't even remember how this went. And so then out comes Austin Theory. He makes the decision to cash in on the United States Championship. Yes, the United States Championship, a beaten down Seth Rollins, and he still lost. That is a burial and a half. It kind of reset Theory, because then he won the United States Championship back almost immediately, but it wasn't a very memorable reign. He had a pretty forgettable match against John Cena. And, Austin Theory's now in the tag team division, and we're still waiting for this potential that we were told from Austin Theory. But a lot of political stuff. This was basically like kind of an FU to Vince McMahon. Still, it's not good. It wasn't good. You had one of your brightest young stars, whether however you feel about him or not. Don't like you're not. Thank goodness they're not using this as a precedent anymore. But really, just to have one of your cash-ins happen in this manner with Austin Theory, just wasting it on a US championship that he had already held, by the way, a US championship that he already held on an already beaten down Seth Rollins, and he still loses, hands down. It is not even a debate. Austin Theory is easily the worst cash-in ever because it failed. It failed for a lot of different reasons. It was just, these are 6 cash-ins that all failed for, like Christian, everybody was talking about, oh, Christian Cage, that's one of the worst ever. And then I saw people mentioning Drew McIntyre. I was like, guys, we're not even having a discussion right now. Austin Theory and Baron Corbin had these guys lapped because they both got screwed over. They both got screwed over. No matter how you feel about them, they both got absolutely, completely screwed over in each of their situations. So that's my list. If you have other cash-ins that I've forgotten, if you want to throw some TNA shit in here as well, the Feast or Fired cases, I didn't really consider that in these. I wanted to kind of focus really on what happened in AEW. And also, there's been a lot of failed cash-ins. None of them have really been particularly good. I mean, Drew McIntyre's was fine because I get it within the story, but still, when you fail, it's really hard to make something really matter and feel good. So doing it in the same night, having it lost because of CM Punk when they didn't really need to sacrifice the briefcase. That being said, nobody was really in position to really elevate themselves. We can look back at it now and maybe say, hey, Jey Uso. But Jey Uso is going to probably get his crowning moment at WrestleMania. So let me know in the comments what you think. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like. Turn on your notifications if you want to get some new wrestling content or sports content as well. Thank you so much to the over 600 people who have subscribed. I will see you guys soon.